This is a podcast that dwells into topics such as games, movies, news, and even history. Today we've caught a wild school story in our spotlight, so stay tuned, because this is the Try By Podcast, also known as Tripod.
Hello, I'm your sleepy co-host, Nels TK, and I'm here today joined with my other co-host, the Merrick,
Howdy,
Yo,
everybody, howdy.
and Jay the Ghost.
yo, what's good? Nelsk might sleep. I might sleep. We're all tired.
Yes, this podcast it kind of took a minute. Episode 3 is going to be kind of a hangover, it seems like. We didn't get drunk or anything, it's just that we had to re-record this one, unfortunately.
Yes.
We'll try our best. Bear with us. I didn't just pop 2 melatonin gummies, okay? I'll be just fine. So let's get into it. Our topic, as you already know, is school stories. So we're going to do 3 school stories each, ranging from most embarrassing probably to most uplifting. We don't know. Take it how you will. All right. I'll go first. Then it'll go to Merrick. Then it'll go Jay the Ghost. So my embarrassing, or it don't gotta be embarrassing. What am I talking about? One of my school stories is actually this. I'll tell this one. This is a lighthearted story about my kindergarten teacher. She made me feel right at home. Like I said this in the previous recording, but it didn't get recorded. It didn't work out. I cried. I cried all day for my first day of school. Like I was just crying because I kind of consider that one of my first days of consciousness. Even though I went through preschool, I don't remember that, and I didn't finish that. But kindergarten was something. And mind the talking, I got like 2 sores on my mouth. Bear with me. She made me feel at home. She was my kindergarten, my first teacher ever, really. And she made me feel at home. She was this older lady. I remember this one time, multiple times. Okay, here how it goes. It was a little game that we used to play with the teacher and the other students. We'll take our name, so our first and last name, and she would have to put it up on the wall, like all the way up on the wall. So she would have to get up on this ladder and put it on the wall. And what we would have to do, we would have to try to beat her. And the way we would do that, if you all ever played, y'all know that one board game, or what's it called, Scrabble? You put the letters together.
Scrabble?
Is that what it's
Yeah,
called?
Scrabble.
Like you make the
Yeah.
Or
words?
Hangman
Oh,
or
yeah.
something like
No,
that.
it's not Hangman, but it's like you put the words and they form like a cross. Anyways, it's like that up and down game. I think it is Scrabble. But basically, it'll be different tiles, and these tiles would have letters that would eventually spell out their name. So what the student would have to do is put their name in order before she got to the wall and tape their name. Once whoever won, that's how it worked. All right. So people were like, yeah, and people be cheering the student on. I remember when it got to me, before it got to me, I was like, man, and even in kindergarten, I was like, man, I can do this shit. What do you mean? It's just what? It's just my name. I don't got that many letters in my name, so come on. Then when it came time, I fucked the name up. Obviously, I had a little bit too much confidence, but I fucked the name up. I think I spelled it backwards or some shit. However I did it. And I think I could tell even then she kind of waited on me. Because she's like being nice. She's like going slowly up the ladder. And I eventually got it. And, that's just something I remember that we used to do. And we would go in front of the class, in front of the projector, and we would do it. Like, we'd put it on the desk. Very nice teacher. Like I'll say one of my best teachers. I don't give her enough credit. I feel like when I say my favorite teachers, I never include her. I need to start including her. Like, she was very sweet, very nice. I'm happy that's how I started off. That's how I started off my grade school days. Yeah, I think I already got. I don't know if I should mention that, but no, that's probably too taboo if I mention that. I got something else to mention. I think I'll save it for the next story. Maybe I'll see. But yeah, that was very very a nice teacher and a very nice year. So yeah, moving on.
So, from what you're saying, going from most embarrassing to most prolific or whatever, I was just thinking about it, and I remember the one time I used to be in gym. Now, back in the day, I would always, it seemed like gym was kind of a mandatory thing in school and stuff. And back in my private school days, I used to have that, like, basically, I think up until recently. But then, when it came to me switching schools, which I guess I could briefly bring up, what was interesting was when I was in my private school, I used to do these, speeches because they thought I was like a disabled kid or whatever. And
Sorry. Continue.
sorry. So once I got through that, um, what they did was they basically kicked me out of that school. I kid you not. They actually
Damn.
kicked me out of my private school. Yeah. And, after that, I was basically left with no main option but one, which is the school that I met these 2 fine gentlemen in this podcast from. There was another option, but
Wait,
either
you
way.
met us at a gym?
No, I didn't meet you guys at gym,
Oh, I was
no.
about to say,
No, no,
wasn't it
no, no.
reading or some shit like that?
It was, like, in reading, yeah. And I met Jay in English.
Yeah.
Ironically,
That's the first
2
y'all.
different.
Oh, I thought y'all met before that for some reason. I thought y'all been to each other before that.
Yeah, we knew each other before, 11th grade, because that was when I first met you then.
Yeah.
Um, but either way, after that, I went to the school that I was in, and one of the first classes that I had, I think the third class I had, because the first one I had was government, I think, and then I had science, and then there was gym. Oh God, gym. So, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but I was really freaking nervous about doing gym. And it was just because I was just, not that kind of person to do. I mean, back then it seemed like I would be able to. I used to run in recess all the time. I used to be so excited. I used to be the happiest kid in the world when it was recess. But gym felt like a whole different world for me for some reason. And, I met some interesting people there, but, going into gym, it felt like a nightmare because, like, you'd think I would know, like, how to do whatever, but I was just, like, sitting there like a stone. Like, when I was taught or when I was, told to do, like, dodgeball or whatever, I was just sitting in the corner of the gym room like, "Uh, hi, guys.
Man,
Hi."
like you had to say your prayers, little one.
Yeah. Like, I wasn't, like, full on, like, running around, doing all these crazy tricks or whatever. I was just sitting there like I was on a stage, like, I have a stage fright or something like that. I was freaked out. And
I
that
don't blame you.
yeah. And that made me realize, like, man, I don't know what happened. I think COVID hit me real bad because apparently, like, I was not able to get out there.
Like
I mean,
don't forget my son, honestly.
COVID
yeah,
hit really hard.
I just couldn't go out there full-fledged for some reason. But, yeah, and for most of the time when I was in gym, I just sat on the bleachers basically because I was just worried about going out and doing anything, literally.
Did you
And I
include
feel so
everyone?
bad. Everybody?
Yeah, did you include everyone?
What do you mean by that? Like everybody else on the bleachers or whatever?
Yeah.
No, like everybody else was doing their thing. They're
Uh,
doing the gym stuff. I was just sitting there like, I don't want to go out there and do this. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
Scary. It's very scary.
I don't want to
like
do
tuck you in, warm within. Like honestly.
it.
It's
So,
like playing Outlast for the first time.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it.
yeah. So, yeah, for the rest of the year, or at least half the year, since I was there for only half a year, I was just sitting on the bleachers for like 90% of the time. And I kind of feel bad because I could have done a lot, but for some reason my fear, my anxiety picked up so bad and I was just not able to do it. And
Man.
that's what I guess was embarrassing, but also really tragic for me.
Man.
Take
But
Doc
yeah.
Star and COVID.
Yeah. You just have to keep yourself free from sin.
Yeah, basically. But hey, I'm old enough to be more independent and things are definitely changing with me and I'm starting to come out a little bit more with everything and I have tried to exercise earlier and all that and that's what I'm doing. So Because if you guys don't know, I'm a stick person basically.
Yeah, if you can like imagine like a stick person you used to draw in like middle school, that's what he looks like.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, that's basically my story on that.
Man, till the Sandman he comes. Wow. All right. So yeah, next is Jay the Ghost.
Yep.
So what's your story, man?
Um,
Break it down.
so before I start, disclaimer: I have nothing against furries or anything like that. I'm not a furry myself. I just don't give a fuck if you're a furry or not. It is what it is. It's your life, not mine. But anyway, getting into the story.
Go ahead.
What the heck?
Getting into the story. There was this one time I was walking to school. Like I was literally on call with somebody, and I was like walking to school, and I literally shit you not, like there was a person on all fours wearing a like fox mask that like zoomed right by me and just started barking at me.
What?
And I'm like, what the
The
hell? And I'm like, I gotta let you go. There was a person barking at me.
And they was like fully
Yeah.
dressed.
Yeah, no, not fully dressed. It was just like it was in a school uniform and it had like a fox face on it.
That wasn't a furry you encountered. It starts with a T. I think it's a Therian. See, look, I know my branches of furries.
T-Rex.
No, it's not T-Rex. It's called like a Therian or some shit.
Oh, yep. I know what you're talking about.
It's like a furry, but it's like kids. I feel like mainly kids do it. They have these paws, then they have the mask. That's like the only parts they might have a tail, and they be jumping in the grass and shit. I don't mess with it. Like, no offense to whoever do it, but like I'm saying, like I don't do it. But
I
I
don't
seen a
fucking
lot of
either.
people do that shit. You know, I think it's I
Yeah,
don't know.
again,
It's like uncomfortable,
again,
isn't
it's
it?
their life. Yeah, again, it's their life, not mine.
Because we're
it is what it is.
bipedal. We're not quadrupedal, whatever it's called. So how can they be in that like stance? You know. But damn.
Yeah, like it was weird. Like I was like half awake, like literally like crossing the road to get to the school, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, man, that
Like, rah!
wow.
No, like they were literally barking at me. I thought it was an actual
Oh.
dog.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, where did they go after that? Or where did you go?
I like went into the building. Like I was like late for school. I was so tired, and I went into the building, and
Were
I was
they
like,
just staring at you or something?
Yeah, they were staring at me from a distance. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Please leave me alone.
Oh hell no. That is crazy. That's one hell of a damn story. But
That is the end of my first story. I am passing the mic now to Nelsk.
okay. So this was a story that is let me see. I'll let y'all pick. Pick one. Elementary, middle, junior high, or high.
Well, I feel like we have talked quite a bit about high school. I feel like elementary would be interesting.
Yeah.
All right, elementary. All right. So there's this one time I was in the computer lab, and this was back in third grade. I remember third grade was actually the same class that I met Jada Ghost in. And our class used to have to go to computer lab that day. I remember the layout of the class like it was yesterday. But basically what happened was the night before, my mom made me it wasn't even a can of corn. It was it was corn, not even on a cob, but do you remember those cups? Like, like peach cups and fruit cups, but it's not fruit, it's like corn, and it's like in that fucking fluid shit. Damn near like that ectoplasm from like some ghost or some shit. But
Yeah.
Maybe.
and so I ate that the night before, and I think that's what did it. But anyways, my stomach started to feel like queasy and some shit. Like, I just started feeling like I had to use the restroom. And I didn't have to use the restroom, or maybe I did. I don't know how you want to put it, but instead of going down, it started coming up. It's coming up. So out of nowhere, I think I farted, then I sneezed. I farted and sneezed at the same time, and I think sometime later I threw up.
Oh my god,
Ooh.
I remember that.
Yeah, that's like a triple whammy. And basically it went on the keyboard. Like at that point I was seated
Oh.
at the damn like computer and shit. So I just all over the keyboard, and it was Windows
That's
7.
all I heard.
These were the
That's
Windows.
literally all I heard.
This
Like it
this
was up.
yeah, this was the Windows 7 days, you know. So
Oh yeah.
Oh
man,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that would sound
And I
bad.
think it was dripping down, and bro, it took me like
Yeah, it was disgusting, dude.
I think it took me
Oh.
2 minutes to like. I was so scared because I kept on looking behind, literally to because the teacher was working with someone in the middle of the class. I was against the wall. He was working with someone in the middle of the class, so I kept on looking back to see if he noticed. Then eventually, 2 minutes, I was like, I just gotta raise my hand. I'm embarrassed as hell, but I gotta do it. And he looked at me, and he's like, he didn't give a damn. It's like I don't even know if he's seen it, but I'm pretty sure he did. It's like he didn't care. He's like, hey, go get up, go what you gotta do. And I think my school crush, I think it was my school crush. Is my other school crush. She escorted me out of the classroom, and she took me to the nurse, I think. And I think I went home that day. I wouldn't doubt it. But
Yeah, I didn't see you for the rest of the day after that.
yeah, I don't know what happened to that keyboard. I don't know. They probably threw it away. I don't think it was salvageable.
Oh yeah, they definitely did.
Like,
They did.
I do.
Once you left, they just unplugged that shit and threw it in the trash can.
Yeah, I wouldn't have doubted, man. It was very crazy.
Yeah, it was like an atomic weapon. They're like, oh, we gotta throw it out. Fuck.
Yeah,
Man.
it's very crazy, man. That day, I was embarrassed. I was sad, and I just went home. And after that, everything is a day. I don't remember anything after that. It's so long ago. It's like that only core memory. I always have that memory. Not always, but it's just in there,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always in the back of your mind.
Yeah. So, yeah, but Merrick, on to you. What's your second school story?
Yeah. So when you started that, it reminded me of a situation when I was actually in elementary school, as well. And I remember, like, we always had to go to classes and all that stuff. We'd always line up and do all that kind of stuff. The school I used to go to, actually, not the private school, but it was like another school, like ages ago. It was completely far away, but it had like all like the educations in there. It had like elementary, middle, and high all in one. And I was like, man, it's a weird concept, but I kind of like it. But that's not really the point. The point was, I remember one time when I used to walk out thinking that I was supposed to go to gym that day, but in fact, I was supposed to go to computer class. And what happened was I went to gym. I keep bringing up gym, but this will be the last time. I go to gym and I'm sitting there crisscross, and I'm like
Couple sauce.
looking around, and I'm like, wait a minute, these are not the classmates. These are not my classmates. And this was like a whole different subject. And then my teacher, the gym teacher, realizes I was there. It's like, what are you doing here? And then I immediately got up and I was like, I gotta get the frick out of there.
Skedaddled out of there.
I was so embarrassed. I flipped out and I was like, "Oh god." And that told me like you better not fuck up with the class schedule. But that was not the last time. I could definitely tell you that. And I guess something that might end up being brought up later in this podcast is in 12th grade when I was going to lunch, I completely skipped my I think it was my economics class, yeah. And I went to lunch, not realizing I skipped it. And as I was going, there was somebody that came up to me and they were like, "Hey, are you new here?" And I'm like, "No, I was already here." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And then I realized like something was off. So after that, I went to my graphics class, and Miss K was there, and she was like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "What? Isn't it the time?" And she was like, "No, it's not." And I was like, "Holy flippin' crap, I messed up the schedule." And that was, like, something that kinda I didn't even think about what happened the last time that happened, but it made me think, like, "Oh my god."
Yeah,
Like,
I've known her since elementary.
yeah.
Actually,
And she was telling
I
me,
got a
like
story involving her. That is crazy. It's a crazy ass story. I tell it.
yeah. But she was telling me, like, I'm a rebel, and I was like, "Yeah, damn right I was." I without even realizing. But since then, I fixed that problem, and but that was the one thing I remembered about my first day in 12th grade. This was on my first day, and somehow I fucked up the schedule that badly. I was just so panicked for some reason.
Well,
I mean,
no,
it was the first day.
yeah, it's the first day. That's bound to happen. I mean, I feel
Yeah,
that probably happened with all of us in this podcast. Honestly,
Yeah.
I
yeah,
wouldn't doubt
yeah,
it.
I'm sure. Yeah,
Yeah. So there's no need to feel. I mean, I understand, but I'm just happy I finished grade school, bro. Like I can do damn acrobatics. Like I got 80% left in college. I can't wait until I finish college. Also, I should say this real quick to all the viewers that are watching right now. This we calculated. Me and the boys talked about this last night. This show, you know how long this show's runtime is gonna be? It's gonna be so long that a legal adult will be born. A legal adult can be born now, and in the future they can turn like to a legal adult, and it'll still be running
Literally.
yeah.
like
Basically,
crazy. 20 years, basically. 20 years this podcast will be
Pretty
going.
much, yeah.
That
We'd
is
be like
crazy.
40 years old and still doing this shit.
Yes.
yeah.
Man.
Like,
have a
I'll
fucking
have, like,
family.
Yeah, I'll have it like I'll probably like adopt a kid or something the next day, and by the time we finish, he'll be like 20 years old or something like that.
Yeah, it's so crazy, man. Like honestly, I think it's amazing. Like if we keep going, but it's y'all that it's the supporters that will take us up, and we appreciate y'all. I can't wait. I'm happy. I'm happy to see where this goes. We're already making progress. We already had a guest. That was a great story, Merrick. Let's move it on to Jada Goes.
All right, first of all, it's story. You tired, Nelsk?
Yeah. What did I say? Stary?
Yeah, you said stary.
Oh yeah, story.
Here's the next scary.
Yeah.
Thank you to Merrick. I do
Have you ever had a dream that you
You
that you
do.
win that you do PP. Oh wait. Anyway, your story kind of reminded me of something similar to mine. First of all, don't do drugs, kids. That is very bad for you. Before I get into the story, I did try it once, and it did not turn out the way I intended. So one day, I was walking with my girl best friend, and she had this like pen, which is like like a weed pen or whatever.
Yeah.
And we took a few hits on the way to school.
They was hitting that neck. No.
Yep.
yeah.
He was hitting that neck. Yep. I was smoking that shit. I was inhaling. Anyway, we go to school. Like we're like an hour and a half late. Like literally, we were just smoking and we like lost our way. So we eventually get to school, and at this time it was like COVID, and I was so high to the point where I walked into the wrong classroom, and it was
I could just picture that.
I can't remember his name, but he was like a sports coach. He was like a big dude. I can't remember. Mr. T. I walked into his class and I said, "What's up, motherfuckers?" And I realized after that I regretted it because I was in the wrong class. And so I walked out, and he was like, "Yo, what the fuck's your problem?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, man. It was the wrong class, and I was just trying to be funny." I'm like, and he was like, "It's all cool, man. Just next time, be careful on what classroom you go into. You're lucky I'm one of the nicer teachers."
Wow.
And I'm like, "You have a good day, man."
Mr. T,
And, like,
I don't remember that one. Don't say the name, but I just don't remember that person.
I'll type it in chat. All
right. It'll stop. It'll still pop up in the recording, but Merrick just block it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
him.
So yeah, I know a lot. I know Mr. T because I think I've told you guys about it before, but apparently he's related to me by marriage.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
And I remember telling him about it, and he was like, "Dude, what?"
Wow.
And I was like, "Yeah."
so
It's actually a really
I'm
cool
gonna,
story.
so
I'm gonna go ahead and finish that real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
For the rest of the year, I haven't talked to him because I was so nervous to talk to him because I felt horrible for what I did. And funny enough, that next year I was in his class, and he was one of the coolest teachers I've ever been with. Like we got real close and we were talking, and no, not like that close.
Okay. No.
No,
Okay.
not
We
that
we,
close,
we
viewers.
understand.
No, I'm talking to the viewers.
Oh.
Not that close.
Oh.
Get your mind out of the gutter. You know what? Get off this video. No, I don't want you here. Get off. No, I'm kidding. Stay. I love you
Get
guys.
off the audience.
I love you guys. Don't leave, please. All right, that's the end of my story. Now, TK, take it away.
All right. Real quick, well, you can cut this out because they don't, it's, I just want to ask this, it's kind of personal. But what, do you know what he is to you? Like, something in law? Like, what is he to you?
He's basically like on my dad's side of the family. Like I have, my dad has a sister
Yeah.
who married him, and they used to be in this place. I'm not gonna say what it is, but it was like the place I used to live in when I was like born,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
It was my hometown. And I didn't know that until my dad came up to me and I was telling him about this, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I remember him. You should tell him that, you're related to him." Like, "Oh, really?" And I did, and I ended up telling him over the desk when, after the whole day was over, and he
Y-
was shocked.
You're,
I was, just telling him about it. He was shocked. He was like, "Oh my goodness," you know.
so wait, you're biological or your step?
Biologically, or
Uh,
biologically, would that be like related as like father son or something like
like
that?
your dad or stepdad?
Yeah, no, he's related to me by marriage.
Well,
Your
no.
dad or stepdad?
Yeah, who
Like your
told you?
dad,
Yeah.
your sperm donor, or your stepdad?
My dad's sister married Mr. T,
Okay.
I'm
All
gonna.
right.
Okay, we're
So
good.
if that makes sense.
that would be
I sure
your
hope it does.
that would be your uncle-in-law, wouldn't it? Or would
I
it?
think
Yeah, I
so.
think that would be your uncle-in-law.
Yeah.
Is it? Let me think, cause that's like it's kind of bugging me now. That would be no, that wouldn't even be your uncle-in-law. I think that's just straight up your uncle, dude. Yeah, that's just your uncle.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
my uncle. He's my uncle.
yeah.
Heck
Wow.
yeah. Well,
Do y'all see
heck
each
yeah.
other or anything?
Unfortunately not, but if I had the chance to, I would love to talk to him again.
Wait, they're still
If you
together,
ever,
right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was about to
Like,
say that.
yeah, there's definitely a way I could contact him if I had to, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's a pretty interesting story.
hey, if you ever talk to him again, just remind him of the story about me.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was in his class. He might remember me. I was in his CCR or something like that. Yeah, it's called CCR, I think. Uh,
College
yeah,
curriculum readiness.
yeah. I was in his class for one semester. It wasn't bad. It was cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. People in there were bad though. I mean, you could tell they kind of
Oh
bad.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hell
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
But
I had some weird kids around me. Like one time, this kid was like trying to nag me to get a girlfriend or whatever.
yeah,
I'm like, okay. We never really talked to each other in the end, though. Kind of just came off as an awkward end off for some reason. Like the second I come into 12th grade or whatever, or no, 11th grade, yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, I was also in his. I mean, if you didn't know already, I was also in his class, like the very last period. So
yeah. But I'll say for my final story, uh, let's see. I'll say I'll make it high school related. Uh, Actually, let's do this. I'll talk about choir. I'm gonna talk about choir. I was gonna talk about my math teacher, my physics teacher, but nah. Shout out to them. They're cool teachers. But I'm gonna talk about choir. Okay. Um, I'm just gonna talk about choir in general, my experience with it, because it all relates to this topic. The topic is being boringness. Okay. Okay, so here we go. So let's start all the way back in fifth grade. That's when I first started choir. Um, Fifth and sixth grade is one teacher. He was cool. I remember he had Roblox. I was so shocked he had Roblox on his laptop or his computer. I was like, "Well, you got Roblox?" And he said, yeah. He was like, yeah, because my daughter plays it." Like he kind of almost said it in that tone too. Like, wow, I just didn't expect that, man. But that's besides the point. That choir class is actually pretty fun because the songs we did were so modern and popish. I mean, we did Christmas songs. Oh man, the Christmas packet. That was the best Christmas concert we ever had. The best ever. Like I think it was either fifth or sixth grade. It came in. There's like a packet of songs. There's this one song I'm still trying to search for, but I forget the name of it. It was like 12 Lanes or something. Is my favorite Christmas song like I ever heard. It was so catchy. No, it wasn't 12 Days of Christmas. Hell no, I would have known that. Um, it was something like 12, I think, was in the name, and Lane. I remember Lane was definitely in the name. I think that was like the chorus. But I remember the one time we actually performed it. We had to perform it right after because the principal gave the speech and he tripped over the wire that plugged in the sound system and the shit just went it just cut off. You know,
Of course.
it's funny. It was assistant principal and we had to redo it. He had to redo his lines. But yeah, okay. That the 5th and 6th grade year pass. Long story short, for those grades, nice. We did pop songs. We even did Imagine Dragons. We did Thunder, Believer.
Ooh.
We did I don't know if we did. No, we did Believer. I don't think we did Thunder, but I know we did Believer. And we did Can't Stop the Feeling by Justin Timberlake. When I was in it, I was like, I didn't like it. But now reflecting back, I got used to it. I actually even loved it during the end of it. Okay, 7th and 8th grade comes. Now this is where it starts to get like this is my second choir teacher, because it's a different school. She was very cool, just like the first guy, but she was very cool. She's very kind. She's very sweet. She's very lighthearted. You know, she cared about all her students. You could tell. I was one of her favorites. I had to add that in there, but no, she's very cool. But I forget we did classic songs. See, look, I'm blanking. I forget the songs we did in there. But I think we did more classic songs. That's why I said this is where it starts to get like... I think we did pop songs, though. So it was still cool. I think it was still cool. Yeah. It was still cool. But now, here we go. 9th to 12th grade. That's my final choir teacher. That's my third choir teacher. She's very cool. It's just this. This is it. We did like 30% of the songs we did were pop songs, Chief. The other 70% were fucking compositions from like Bach, Beethoven, Mozart. This is not even an exaggeration. I know we did Bach. We did Mozart too, I think. I don't know if we did Beethoven. But dude, I didn't like it because it was foreign languages. And I brought this up in the past story in the other recording. I couldn't read the language, you know, and it made me it just pissed me off. Like, I was mumbling for some of that class. I'm not gonna lie, Chief. It just wasn't my thing. And actually, I'm sorry, 9th to 11th grade. Because once I got to Masterworks, I did that for a year. I'm done, Chief. I'm done with it. I got out. I had to get up through. You know what I'm saying? I told her before 12th grade, the counselor, because I was doing my scheduling, he was like, okay, man, if you really want to do this, you got to go to your teacher to tell her that you quit. And I was like, okay. So I marched through the main hall. Jada Ghost and American knows what hall I'm talking about. And I turned left. I bust a quick left. And I turned right because once you turn left, you're in the music hall. Or it's technically the music hall. You got to turn another right, then you're actually in the music hall. Then I got all the way down the hall is an orchestra. Then across down the hall is a choir. In the middle is inside orchestra is band. Orchestra is in the middle. Okay, I turned another right to get into the room. She was right there. I was like, hey, look, I can't do it. I'm done. Why I can't do it? Well, first of all, I remember I didn't tell her this, but I didn't kind of want to because I'm not that rude. But it's like this. Hey, there was a concert that we had. It was taking place in a church, and the different, because there are different levels of choir once you go to high school. Hey, the parents were there. We were doing our compositions. We were reading them, right? Or we were singing them. Tell me why 80% of the time we were there, about 50% of the crowd was knocked out. I'm not lying. All you seen were... Dude, our parents are sleeping and we performing. That, you know why? Probably because we're singing songs older than their great-great-grandparents. That's probably why. Man.
Yeah.
Like, dude,
Yeah,
it pissed me off kind of because it's like that's why 5th and 6th grade choir was so much better than high school choir. And, you know, no offense to the choir teacher. She was a great person. It wasn't that it was her attitude or anything. It's just the songs we were singing, man. I didn't like... Okay, I don't have nothing against old music. I love old music. But, bro, when it's the damn majority of our damn compositions, it becomes a problem. And plus, when I can't read it. I remember this one composition was called Come Sweet Death by Bach. It was cool. I like it. But at the same time, can we do something more modern? I don't know. Let's get Justin back. Shit, I'll even take the Bieber. I'll even take that Justin. But damn. We did Michael Jackson once, which I was actually very excited for that. I think we did that.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just the point that it went from a lot of pop songs to more compositions. I get it, we're in a higher level, but can we at least split it a bit? I feel like every other time we're just doing compositions. Like I don't know. I don't think like from what I remember, we mainly did compositions, and that was kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie. 9th, 10th, and 11th was kind of boring. And plus, if I'm being honest, I don't want to sound like a loner. Shout out to my song coming out soon. But I don't want to sound like a loner, but I was lonely in that class, dude. Like, because in ninth, like I told you, there's different levels, and I'll end this story. There's different levels, different choir levels. 9th and 10th grade, bro, tell me why. 9th grade, it's called Meridian. I was in Meridian choir. I said I was kind of a loner, but I knew some people. We talked sometimes. Not like talk, but we talk sometimes. I sat by myself for the majority of it. And we were in the auditorium. That's what I liked about 9th grade year. We was in the auditorium because of COVID. I think we were in it for 10th grade a little bit as well. But I was in Meridian for 9th and 10th. It wasn't only until 11th until I got to Masterworks. So it goes mixed, Meridian, then Masterworks. Then you got I can't say that because I kind of reveal it. I'm pretty sure mixed and Meridian and Masterworks are not only for my school. I think so. I don't think so. I think that's for everyone. But anyways, bro, once 10th grade hit, everyone moved on that I knew to Masterworks off the bat. Yes. I was stuck in Meridian, so I'm not gonna lie. Probably that made me feel some type of way, but it's all right. In 11th grade, I moved up, but I don't know, man. I like singing, I like rapping, but it just wasn't for me. You know, I didn't really like it. It was awkward. The people in there, I didn't mess with no one like that. You know, like I said, I mess with some people. We talk sometimes, but most of the time, dude, I was just by myself. I was just thinking, what am I gonna do after school? What am I gonna do after this class? And plus, that was morning class. That was the first period, I believe. Dude, had to sing some damn scales and shit, arpeggios. Man, I was bored, man. I was hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my final story. I'm sorry. That probably took a minute, but I don't know. I just want to get that out. You know, that overall, it was all right. You know, it was all right for high school. Besides high school, I liked it, man. It wasn't bad. So yeah, moving on to Merrick. What do you got for us?
So my final story, since we're doing 3 stories, I guess is one that I've already explained earlier. In the last attempt we tried to do this, so I might as well reignite this one. So, bringing up my graphics experience, obviously Jay may or may not go into detail about it. I don't know. But basically, I've had an interesting time in graphics, and the teacher there, I thought she was fine. But there was definitely a couple instances where it got a little insane. I'm not gonna lie. So, um, basically, the one time I was there, we were trying to do our assignments, and obviously, what I was supposed to do was I was supposed to, coach her or tell her about the progress I was doing, and that was what I was supposed to do, or at least tell her like, "Hey, I'm done with this thing. I got this and that to do, or whatever." All of a sudden, somebody passed out in the classroom, and as that happened, we all went to gym. And after that, I came back and she told me something that kind of sounded messed up. I'm not gonna lie. She told me, like, hey, even if that happened, you should still talk to me about, like, the stuff that you're doing. And I'm like, oh my goodness, are you serious? So that was a situation that happened, and it was just, it
Yeah,
was,
I think that was messed up of your teacher, man.
yeah, yeah. And another instance was, when I was doing an assignment, it was like a car assignment or whatever. It felt like she was, like, really on us constantly, and I was, like, sweating my ass off. I was like, "Oh god. Oh god.
Yeah,
Oh
I know that
god."
feeling. I know that feeling.
Yeah, I don't know if Jay was there when it happened, but it was
Yeah,
pretty
I
bad.
was.
Yeah, we were trying to do the car assignment, and we were trying to watch these videos, I think, and she was, like, just like beating her ass about it. Like, hey, you better get this done. You better do this specifically, or else I'm gonna like smack talk you to the freaking hell and back. And I was not for that, And it was it felt like she was like she had a rough day. It sounded like, and it was just a really bad experience.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's really about it. I'm gonna be brief with this one because I don't know, like, even though this wasn't a very long time ago, it feels like I've forgotten everything about that whole class for some reason. I
Yeah.
actually feel bad because it was definitely one of the most colorful classes I've had, despite of things, of course. I had a lot. There was a lot of good classmates I had and talked to or whatever, including Jay, of course. We would always talk to each other, try to, you know, I guess mess with her a little bit.
Yeah. All right. This is my final story. Bear with us here. We are like half awake and it's like 12:30 in the morning.
Yes.
Anywho,
That's
I'm gonna go off of a Merrick's story with graphics. Um, there was this one time, disclaimer, again, this is disgusting. I've mentioned this before.
Oh yeah. No, just
Um, I had a really big cyst on my back, and it was like literally ready to pop. And so it was like the size of a golf ball.
Yes.
So I go up to Miss K and I ask her like, "Hey, can I go to the restroom because I have this really big cyst on my back, and it's literally getting ready to pop at any given moment." Well, she says no. Go sit back down. Go do your work. I sit back down. Go ahead and do my work. And out of nowhere, I feel something like soaked, like on the back of the back of my shirt. I'm like, "What the hell is that?" So I feel back there and I'm like pouring blood out of these cysts. And I'm like, "Well, okay then." So I go up to Miss K again and ask her once more, "Hey, can I go to the restroom so I can clean myself up?" And he says no. So I text the Merrick and I'll be like, "All right, I'm about to walk out just so I can get this stuff done." And he said, "Okay." So I go out the door and I leave like the door cracked, like closed enough to where it looks like it's closed, but like cracked enough to where I can like open it by myself.
yeah.
Well, she closed this door while I'm gone. And while I'm in the restroom, I'm like squeezing the hell out of this thing. It's like it popped like all over. And mind you, I was over the toilet, so it didn't go anywhere. Everything was clean. And if there was anything on it, I made sure to clean it off. And after all that ordeal, I go back to the classroom and the door is closed and locked. So I knock on the door and Miss K literally looks at me and is like gives me a smirk. And I'm like, okay then, we'll play this game. So I text the Merrick like, hey, can you open this door for me? And so he does, and I like, walk in, close the door, and she's like, did you learn your lesson? I'm like, no, I didn't, because I was bleeding.
You should have given her the double barrels. You know what those are? Boom, boom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for real, I should have. And she like had a smart comment, and funny enough, I did flip her off.
Oh god.
Man. Wow. So
Man.
I remember you last time you said you was in that class the whole day, right?
We
So
were in there for like 2 periods.
so you just had to deal with that shirt just soaking and drying up. Man.
Mm-hmm.
Man. If y'all ever seen Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, there's this one scene with a girl and a pimple and spiders start crawling out of it, and it goes all over the bathroom because she tried to pop it. That's what I envision. But yeah, that's very disgusting.
Yeah.
But thank you all. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen and ladies, for joining us on episode 3 of Tripod. This is episode 3, right? I'm not tripping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what
Yes.
Okay, so thank y'all.
We're gonna
for-
lose count soon.
Yeah, no, we can't. We won't. We promise y'all we won't. If we do, that's why y'all can help us. But thank y'all for joining us. We talked about disgusting ass stories from like the bottom of the bucket to uplifting and bright and wholesome stories, So y'all got the whole damn catalog. If y'all like more videos like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and whatever other buttons are down there. I really don't know. I forget. But I have been Nels TK. Click, click. And this has been the Merrick.
Jimmy.
And this has been Jay the Ghost.
Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys have a great day or night.